Oh, look at you. Got gloves on?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you trying to push the holes back together?
What are we doing?
I don't know. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
Good evening.
Yeah, so what are you doing? You melting it back together?
I'm just melting it. I did the other one because this is the second one. It's two
Slow
of them.
down. Stop moving so fast. Well, what do you mean? Like they tried and failed?
They put it in this one first, and then they put it in this one because apparently, I don't know what.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. So there we go. Anyways, it's really not the best idea to mount your fuse holders to these things, especially if you need to service them. Don't do that. Especially like a big 0 gauge, or 4 gauge or whatever. Don't mount fuse holders to these things. Make your own mount. That would be ideal. Also, don't over tighten your screws, or make sure you're mounting your speaker on a flat surface, because you can really screw up the speaker. Now keep in mind, this is cast aluminum. Look at that. Okay, I think that's the good one. Look at this one. Holy Jesus. Like how dumb are you? Like just keep screwing. Just dory that bitch. Yeah, so every one of these, like look how, why would you do that? Keep in mind, this is a very old set of K2s, but that's not going to seal. No, that's not. That's an expensive focal. This was an expensive focal. So this is an original K2 power from back in the day. Just to give you an idea of the age, here are some old Odyssey amplifiers. Got a 4.1 and a 5.1K. That's what's coming out along with the Bit 1 HD. So these are coming out. And it's not that they're bad, like bad equipment. It's just that it is actually bad. I think it's the 4.1 here has a bad channel on it. So she's like just taking both out. And in this box is the replacement, which is an 830. So we're taking out this whole pile of stuff here and putting in an 830, and then this is 9 channels of power. Hola, what's up, Danny? And then we're going to be using this little guy right here to power the subwoofer. So we're just going to do a little Rockford amplifier to power up the sub. Nice and simple, hide it away. These always kind of overheated where she had it. That's why it had this fan. We're going to have a lot more room, space it out a little better. They have it, yeah. So let's go into the back here. I'll show you what we're doing. So this is a Honda Odyssey. All right. And she had this done like 10 years ago. She brought it in recently for a new radio. So we put a new Kenwood in there, took out an Alpine, figured out that, wow, that was a lot of work. She's got a set of old Utopia 7. So you got a tweeter, mid-range, mid-bass up here in the front. And then in the back, they had those components with the tweeters mounted here on the side. Did a terrible job on those. But everything was mounted here. So there was this focal sub, a little 13-inch in a ported enclosure was mounted here. And then the amplifiers were jacked up and mounted in this area here. Drywall screwed, of course, into the bed. So there was some water leakage that got into the amp rack here. So this is the amp rack. So we had some water leakage focused around the screws. So that kind of sucks. So that was the first thing that we replaced. Anytime you're working on a car and you're going to be pulling out screws and you know you're not going to be putting them back in, especially in something like this, go ahead and fix those screws. So in this case, we put butyl rubber sealant on the inside here, as well as I crawled up underneath, hit my head on the bottom of the floor, which was fun, and put butyl rubber over the holes on the bottom so that we sealed them up. Silicone will work. Anything that can get into that hole and create a vapor barrier is good. The box looks bad, but it's really not that bad. The cool thing is that they never actually sealed the box. Okay, so there's no sealant in here at all. There's no like silicone or anything like that. And this, like I said, this has been in here for years. This is a 10-year-old system. This could have happened 6 years ago. So this wood is not wet. It could have been a water bottle. She throws her bikes in here. Who knows? The reality is this can all be fixed with some epoxy and some sealant. So we're actually going to repair this more than fix it, because this can be fixed. If this was wet right now and moldy and stuff like that, which it's not, so this can all be repaired because it's just wood. So you can sand it, you can epoxy it, you can seal it up. So this will be fixed, and it's just in this corner. So that I can repair with no big deal. That's destroyed, which I wasn't going to use that anyways because it's wood. So the plan now is we're going to build a whole plastic shelf in here, raise it up off the floor. So, because behind this is this rack here that this is where the sub plays through. So there's all kinds of room to go in here. So we're going to lift the box up off the floor, just in case it was something else other than these screw holes that caused the issue. Get it secured that way as opposed to screws through the floor, which is wonderful, joy. And then we will start anew. So we'll build up some area here to mount just the two amplifiers that we have. Make sure you have proper air, ventilation, and stuff like that. We'll make sure the box isn't sitting. So everything will be able to breathe, be serviceable. Because right now it wasn't even really serviceable. So like there's a bunch of stuff. One of the things that irritates me, I find, why? Okay, so if you're gonna do these rear speakers back here, which they did, amplifiers are right here. Why would you run wires from the radio all the way back to here? It's like stupid, right? Because it's like I get it. It's not the end of the world. It's a pet peeve, which means it's not like it's, the worst thing that could ever happen, but it's a thing that could happen. So we're gonna run. We were gonna try to recycle some of this wire because it's just wire. It's not wet. It's not damaged. But more we thought about it, we were gonna replace the RCAs anyways. You know what? It's all a bundle. Let's just pull the whole bundle out. We'll run all new wiring and call it a day. So that's gonna happen there. It had a 4-gauge that was powering those two amplifiers. And there again, it's been in there for 10 years, so it's probably enough. But I think a 4-gauge with this long of a run is a bad idea. So we're gonna pull the 4-gauge out and put a 0-gauge in, which I think is better. I don't want that to be the problem. She was having some overheating issues, so there again, it was encapsulated. They added a fan, kind of fixed them. I don't know, but I wanna make sure that we have enough power getting to them so it's not starving for power and causing an issue. And when we were talking about sealing up the holes, this is another one. So there was a hole here underneath this that they just put like a plastic grommet in, but it was still like you could still get water out of it. It wasn't sealed. It was like kind of silly. So there again, sealed that up. So now we don't have to worry about water getting out of there and just rolling into there, because this seems to be the area where the water pooled. I mean, if you crawl underneath the car, you see where these two holes were like literally the lowest points of the car. So every piece of water is going to come up through those, because a drywall screw is not a sealed screw, right? So lots of fun. Yeah, I mean, it looks worse now than it was. I mean, like all these wires are just strewn here. So, oh my God, they were all zip tied up. I mean, it was one of those situations where it was like, if this was a normal install, it probably would have been okay. But when you have, this was like 20 or 30 grand 10 years ago. It's not a 20 or 30 grand install. So, it's kind of shitty. There are some neat things about it. They did do some really cool things. But then again, they did some really stupid things and kind of cut corners, like on the rear speakers. Doesn't make any sense. We'll fix all that. So, can't wait to see it once it's done. Me neither. I gotta be honest with you. I wish I didn't have to do it. So, what shop did spill it? Honestly, I don't know who did it. I think the shop that did it is no longer in business. We've had a couple shops in this area that were really popular back in the day. And people go and spend a lot of money there, and they went out of business just because of, you know, things. Not because they were doing crappy business, but just because, like, the companies that owned them wanted out, and some of them did crappy business. But there again, it's just one of those things. Well, we'll take care of it, get it all working. The importance of cleaning your material before you put your side, like this is how this was sitting, and there's no sticky on this whatsoever. Okay, which means that this was dirty when they put it on. They didn't bother to clean the area, so this stuff just peels right off. Like, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know what this was for, because I think this was to hold the passive crossover that's sitting right here. Because the passive crossover, they didn't have the tops on it. It was just a piece of this was like over the top of it, trying to hold it in place, which to me just sounds wonderful. Like, I want nothing more than butyl with aluminum on it to hold my crossover in place. Like, I think that's a spectacular idea. Like, way to go, guys. And then if you need an argument to why you shouldn't use this type of crap underneath your hood, I mean, if you're only going to keep it for a couple years, you're golden. But this is the split loom that they used underneath the hood. I'm guessing they just have a really cheap version of it, but this is why we don't use split loom anymore. We just use the braided loom, because the braided loom isn't going to do this. At least not that we've seen over the years that we've used it. So we know there is good split loom because the factory is using it. Like, this piece here obviously doesn't have that, but that wasn't the stuff they were using. They were using some cheap stuff. So, you know, I'm detecting sarcasm. None at all. Is Fernando done with the fancy fusel? No, he hasn't even started yet. There again, he was fixing the two mounts that they had tried to, getting those all set and ready to go. So now it's a matter of figuring out where we're gonna put it and making sure that it works. But that's what today is, guys. So this Honda Odyssey, I just want you to know how, you know, when you're jealous of a system, this is the car you'd be jealous of the system in, because this is going to have a Mosconi 830 in it, running the Utopias in the front. Oh, and then for the rear, we're going to laser some panels to cover where they have that tweeter, and then we're going to put a set of the newer coaxials in there. So this will be, I'm going to get started on doing this. The coaxials, the axles. We're going to put some axles in there. We're going to put some axles. And that's an inside joke. But yeah, so we'll get everything going here. We're going to tear out all the wiring. We're going to run all new wiring. That's it. That's what we got going on. So it's 1 o'clock-ish. We'll see you guys back at 6:30. You guys have a wonderful day. Say goodbye, Fernando.
Bye, Fernando.
There you go. Look at him. Eagerly working. Rocking on. What is up, everybody? And welcome to Hump Day. I know. This is the Odyssey's final minutes here in the store. Let's see. Let's open this thing up. If you guys were here on Monday, then you caught the beginning of this, and now here on Wednesday you can catch the end of this. So we are finished with it. We just got done. Yep, right. Wait. We just got done with the tune, and it was a lot of fun. There's a few moments of touch and go because, all right, one of the reasons I absolutely hate Windows computers is because of the touchscreen and the mouse pads. I know you can adjust all that, and I have mine turned down super sensitive to where, I mean, it's not so it's super sensitive, but it never seems to either stay or hold on. It just never works right. And in this case, it bit me in the ass, as it often does, because you'll just be hovering over something and it'll turn something on. And it did that. And so we thought we were having a problem with channel number 1, which is our driver's front tweeter. And we went ahead and said, you know what? It's probably something stupid, and we'll just keep going. So we kept going. We went through the tune. We got everything working the way it was supposed to. Sound everything up. And when we were done, we went back and I called our buddy Nick Wingate, and I was like, "Hey man, walk me through this. What did I do wrong?" And so I'm gonna load up our curve here that we made. And we'll do this so I can just show you guys what it looks like. And so as it turns out, we had no sound coming from the tweeter. And I was like, God, what the hell? Tested all the outputs. Now, the thing I didn't do, which was the simplest thing I could have done, is just gone from preset 1 to preset 2 and see if on preset 2 I had audio. We didn't think to do that because that makes sense. And eventually we got around to doing that, and we're like, all right, we know it works. We reset the amplifier, we did all these fun things, and we're like, no, it works. And I loaded my tune. So we knew there was something wrong with the tune. And so I'm going to flip it for you. So this software might be scary for some of you to look at, but it's actually really kind of cool. And here is your crossover page. So this is channel 1, this is channel 2, and you'll notice you have a bandpass channel if you need it. So what had happened was I was over here adjusting this band, all right, and I was looking at the RTA over here in this, and my fingers were hovering over the keyboard. And what it did is it turned on 18 dB. So it created a bandpass between 5,000 and 120, which basically means there's going to be no sound coming from said tweeter at all. So I was like, oh crap, what's up? Brian is in the house, Master Tech Expo, super planning. Get ready, start saving. You guys want to go to that. And then, so what happened was I created a bandpass on this channel, so we lost all audio naturally. And now the cool thing was there's a bunch of things you can do. So you have what's called basic and pro mode. When you launch pro mode, you get, hold on. When you launch pro mode, you go here, you have your input EQ. So if you have an issue, you have your input EQ. You can take a look at that. You can go to DSP monitor. All right, so let's go to DSP monitor here. So this page is super helpful because if you're playing sound, you'll have your input. These are little green bars that'll light up so you can see the input signal. And then if you come over here, you can see the output signal. So as you turn on and off, this is how you mute. You just click on one of these and it shuts that channel off. Like, makes total sense, right? But you can see the signal here. So we knew that there was no signal coming through that. So that means that the sound is coming, it's passing through your input, your output, your crossover, your time delay, everything is passing through, and then you're gonna have output signal here so you can see what the heck is going on. So it's like this nice flow chart that makes a lot of sense. That's how this is set up. So if you think of this as a flow chart of everything that is gonna happen. So here's your signal, here's if you need to fix anything. If you don't, you can skip that, go to this stage. This is your input mixer. So when you click on this, this opens up this page. This tells it like we have a Kenwood radio, so we have front, rear, sub happening. So you have 100%. Now the cool thing is if you want to reduce the signal, they give you this little key right here, which is really cool. So if you want to gain it up, you have, let's say, small voltage output, put it at 200%. If you want to bring it down 12 dB, you start at 25%. Or if you need to mix channels, so let's say you wanted to do 25, you know. And so this is your input mixer, which then you tell it, so this is front because we label it front, rear, center, sub. And then you go to your output and you click that arrow and it'll tell you, you know, what do you want? Front, center, sub. So you can set all these up. This page here is your global EQ for, oh, where did my mouse go? This is your global EQ for fronts. All right, so this allows you to go in and tune everything that is on the front, left, and right channel. You can do it independently or you can do it some together. So this is the master EQ for front. So this is everything. This is all three of my front bands, which are all located here, are located there. So this will get me into my specialty page, so to speak. So each one of these is an option. It's an option port. So if you see where it says EQ right there, so this is channel 1, and I can select that, and now I have flat, which will give me gain control, high pass, low pass, so I can have a separate crossover just for this channel. I can do high shelf and low shelf, EQ band, notch filter, and all pass. And then if I go to this one where it says all pass, now that is for phase C. That's this allows you to manually do what Barney is doing for you, but this will, if you select, we'll go over here, and if we click on this, click, see, 8 windows, it gives you this bottom option, which is phase C shifter. And this is where you type in, this will open a whole nother menu and give you the option to type in all this. And what you're going to do is you're going to phase correct between the tweeter. So you pick all of these reds, so this would be the tweeter, mid bass, and you're going to phase correct between the tweeter and the mid-range and the mid-bass, and the mid-bass and the subwoofer. And you're going to do that on all those, and it's going to create an all-pass filter for those channels so that you can properly phase align the speakers that are located here, 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 and way back there. It's really impressive once it's done. It's like, holy crap, it sounds really cool. And then because we're doing rear speakers in this, if you come up here, so under here it says main mixer output. So in mixer output it's set as just a regular EQ. But if you go to the rear and you select, now you have to start with the rear at -3 dB down. But if you select cross mixer, what that's going to do is add these special effects that, if you remember the first Bronco video we did with Sage, he was talking about his rear speakers and adding that effect to them. And it's a cross mixer, so it takes and aligns these speakers here and these speakers. So picture a big X, so that when it arrives at your head, it's more of a Dolby effect than just a rear speaker playing out of the back. And it does work. It sounds really cool. So this is some of the fun stuff. So if you're playing at home, you go, okay, so like for this, we're going to use these to match the left and right tweeter, left and right mid. So we're going to match left to right here, and we can go in and, you know, we can adjust them so that we get a nice curve here. This is just a ghosted in for the mid bass. So most, like 3 bands, I think we use 3 bands. Sometimes I think on the mid range I might have used 4 bands to get them to where they matched. And then when I go back to here, I can then come in and do any big adjustments. So once I've summed them back together, if I have a peak, you know, like right there, you kind of peak. Yeah, you saw that peak. I can then go in and I can adjust that. Or if I want to add some salt and pepper to it, maybe I want to boost the treble. Or in there again, I wouldn't necessarily have to boost the treble here. I could just do a high shelf and grab the center frequency, lift it up, and it'll just give me a boost in this area, which you won't see on this. But yeah, so that's this is the Mosconi software. And as you can see, there again, each one of these blocks as you're moving through. And so for time delay, it will figure this out for you in the there you gotta hit, let's see, hit Alt M. I'll select OK, and that's going to bring up this measurement tab here. And so when we select delay, it'll bring up this menu here, and we can type in all our measurements, and it'll automatically export them over to the, tap it again, and export them into this area here and give us all our measurements. But now if we want to, we can go in and do group delay. So let me get rid of this EQ, And anything that has these boxes next to them, you'll see these down here on the bottom. What that allows us to do is, if like you'll see right here where it says -1. So I needed to turn the volume down on this whole side. So I can come over here and I can check and turn down, or if I just want to do these two, I can uncheck this. So I can come down here and I can do adjustments on just this panel here, this panel here, this panel here. It allows me to do group adjustments, which is really cool. I can change these boxes to any one of these colors. So you have all 4 colors. So if I wanted this to be yellow, that to be yellow, I could do that. So as I'm working through, and then here's my output level control, so I can turn it up and down. So if I want to gain up, gain down, right? Everyone's going to gain down. And so there again, as I'm walking through the tuning process, I eventually end up here, which is filing phase, which there again we fixed on the other page, but this is really where I'm going to end up, is getting my levels correct, and that's it. So once I've done that, I can save it, and we're all set, and we're where we're at right now, which is done. So what did we end up doing? I'm lost. It's okay, trust me, it's a lot. It's a lot for everybody, and I had to call Nick because I screwed up, so it's okay. So if you guys caught this on Monday, we had it all apart, and what we ended up doing is we ran all new wires we pulled everything out. So we pulled these out, we pulled the radio out, we ran all new wires to the whole car. So new speaker wires here, new speaker wires there, and then in the rear, if you recall, that Kevlar 6.5 and they was just warped, like they screwed it in something fierce. So I'll have Fernando pull that grill off and we can take a look at it. Here you go. You'll just need this. That one there. Just go on the inside. But in the back, this is what we ended up. So we fixed the box. If you remember, the box had gotten wet in this corner right over here. So it was dry though. It had been wet. This has been in here for almost 10-15 years. So we fixed that, sealed up the box, sanded it all back flat, took all care of that. So this is working perfect. And then what we have now is our new amp rack. Before they had the box like screwed into the floor and there was drywall screws sticking out of the bottom. We covered all of those and now everything is attached together. So this is actually one piece. There's some hidden screws up underneath the wiring to hide where they're at. You could see them. They're not like, oh, you're never going to find them, but they are hidden so that like the casual look, you won't see them. Like there's the one you can see the most is like right there. But then there's another one hiding under here, and then there's one hiding under there. So they're hidden from just the casual glance. But this is the Mosconi 830. Now there is a piece of plastic on this still, but this is cool. So this is the magnetic, and this just goes over it like that. We'll peel this so it'll be shiny. So here's our new wiring. We ended up having to use brown for white because we ran out of white the other day, and so I have more white coming. And so we got the 830, we ran the 8000 series Stinger cables. It's okay. I would have liked it on the 6, but we didn't have them, or the X2s, but we only had the 8000s. So 8000s up into the front, they have a 4-channel, they have a 2-channel, 4-channel on highs, 2-channel on sub. And then the sub gets routed out of 11 and comes into the 750.1, which is what's powering that woofer, the 13-inch, older 13-inch Focal ported. There again, this stuff's all been in here forever, except for this. This is all new. We pulled out the 4 gauge and ran a 0 gauge. We showed the bracket that we made for it the other night, but this is what it looks like in place. So it goes inside of the handle, attaches 2 bolt points here. Then you have this ABS, which is holding the 0 gauge fuse holder that we installed. And of course, we changed the ground to a 0 gauge ground. We just added it. We have it on charge because we've been playing with this thing like for a while now. So we wanted to make sure our battery stayed functional. But yeah, so 0 gauge came up this side of the car. All the other stuff went down that side of the car. All right, let's hop in here. So it had those K2 tweeters, the old K2 tweeters in here. And so we took those out and we made this acrylic ring to make it kind of look like a tweeter. It's 3 pieces of acrylic. You can see the black back there. So what it is there's 2 pieces of acrylic that are sandwiched between the panel, and then this goes over that and covers it so that it looks, you know, trying to retain that tweetery look, even though it's not a tweeter. And we gutted, see this white stuff here, is there's this giant white piece of plastic that goes in here that kind of screws everything up. So we removed that except for these, because there's two little clips here and here that attach to that. So we needed to make sure we could still, so there's a clip that goes in this hole, not in the back, and then here. And then we made another acrylic bracket. So I took these out. As you can see, they're kind of shiny. So we sanded them all off, got all the goo and the crap that was on them off. We added sound treatment to the brackets to where they attach to the car. And then the acrylic ring sat on here. So we have two pieces to make sure that this cheap thin metal stays nice and rigid. There's the tweeter for this side. And then the K2 coaxials went in. And this was part of the reason why we decided, screw it, let's just run all new wiring, because we were already at this point and we're like, all right, we're not gonna run these off the factory, have them go all the way up there and then all the way back here. So we're like, screw it. And that's where all this wire comes from. So ran new wire up to here. The rear comes around the backside, kind of Mustang style, and then comes up into this speaker here. Zero gauge comes out this way. The ground is up behind this panel here. Nice zero gauge ground. T-spec distribution block. 8 gauge going out to 750. 4 gauge coming out to here. All zip tied in place. It's a dual layer amp rack. Let me get out of here. Let me back up. I'll show you what I mean by that. Which I think you guys have seen enough of the amp racks to get the whole dual layer thing. So there's a second layer right here. So the amplifiers are on risers, and then they're on a piece of 1/2 inch, and then that's sitting on another piece of 1/2 inch. And the reason for that, you can kind of see the bend here, is we wanted to make sure we were able to clear the wire. So there's plenty of room here for that wire to come underneath. So we wanted to create that gap for that, and then so all the signal stays around this area, then comes over and goes up into the front, and then all the power wire, you know, very simple. The blue wire is the USB. One of the other cool things about this amplifier, if you ever get your hands on one of these 830s, you have remote out here and remote in here. When you turn off the stereo, this guy does stay on for about 3 minutes. And that is so that it can properly shut down. It can go through all its phases of shutting down the software, so you don't get a big tick-a-boop when you turn it off. So there is a delay turn off. The amp here will turn off after about a minute, and then this will turn off 2 minutes later, so that it has its time. It cuts the audio, so there, you don't have to, like, you're not going to hear, because it has a noise gate built into it, so all that, you don't hear any weird noises or any fun stuff. So, which is cool. I mean, which is what you'd expect with an amplifier of this caliber, which is super amazing. So that's it. Yes, my Mosconi 1 stays on 2 minutes exactly, and that's just sort of properly shut off. So there you go. That's what we did. So if you want to see what it looks like, go back and watch Mondays, and you'll see what it turned into. I'm pretty sure she's going to love the way it sounds. We actually tuned it this time because the previous install did not have a tune on it.
Nothing.
It had some time alignment, but it had actually no tune. Had a crossover.
I mean, why not?
I know.
At least they have crossovers, so that was good.
Yeah, well, yeah, you kind of need crossovers. But what we found on the other one, we thought on Monday that there might be passive crossovers for these two speakers here. And as it turns out, when they upgraded the DSP, they never ran a second set of RCAs out of the DSP into the amplifier to put them on their own channel on the DSP. They were using the active crossover in the amplifier for those. So they were using the bandpass inside of the amplifier to cross these over, which it's like the DSP had the channels, they just didn't feel like running an extra set of RCAs when they replaced it. So we were happy for that, because at the time we were planning on recycling the wiring, but then it just got to the point where it was like, let's just zero this bitch out and go from there. Nano could sleep in the back. Of course he could, Christian. How does it sound? As good as the other 830? Yes. Fernando's having a hard time with it because, you know, this is a 20-year-old system. We'll call it what it is. 20-year-old car, but whenever she had it, you know. So this is the old school kick speakers, as opposed to now everything would be up here, get that sound stage up nice and high. So the sound stage in this is kind of low, you know, she sounds like she's coming from the radio, as opposed to, you know, up here. And there's, yeah, so, you know, it's what it is. It's what it is. You'll live.
No, I can't.
I know. So he's having a hard time with it, but he'll get over it. It sounds really good, though.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. So this is done. We're going to pull our USB out. If you're doing USB, this is a USB extension right here. This is an amplified USB extension, which is really nice. One of the cool things about the Mosconi software is that once you plug in, this will power the, it won't shut off. So a lot of the times when you're adjusting DSPs and stuff like that, the software, when the car goes to sleep, everything shuts down and crashes. This won't let that happen. This will make sure that the amplifier stays on. So it negates the remote turn on, and it just stays active the whole time, which is really cool. So, but yeah, that's the Mosconi software. So pretty neat. It's got a lot of features, a lot of stuff. What door speakers? So this has a set of this has got the old Utopia System 7. Yep. So it's got a 6-inch, the 3-inch, and the big tweeter right there. So like I said, she's had this for a very long time.
The beryllium.
So yeah, it's got the beryllium. So, but yeah, so that's what's that. So there you go. That is the Odyssey. We went on an Odyssey. So she'll be happy. We have another car waiting in the wings. Obviously, we got to get done in a couple hours so that we can leave here successfely.
Save everything?
Yeah, this is just running in the background. Okay. It's nothing's hooked up, so you can do whatever you like.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need the DMRTA to shut off so my computer doesn't catch on fire.
It's okay.
I know. It's hating life. But anyways, the artwork amp rack you made, is that the 6-channel or the 4-channel? Oh yeah, guys in Orlando said to never plug laptop in with Mosconi. Yeah, so yes, it wasn't connected to power. You charge up your laptop before using it. But they make, if you're worried about that, they actually make a USB circuit breaker. So the cable we have is an amplified extension, which is kind of nice, but then you also have a USB circuit breaker. I prefer just to not plug it into the wall or plug it into a battery. That is the amplifier that you're referring to, is the Christian, is the 610. I have a 2021 Silverado. I was trying to get signal. If it's a base model 2021, then you could just get it off of the driver's front. However, you're going to have a loud ass chime if you're not going to use some form of an EQ DSP in there. So you might want to check into getting the Metra DSP for the non-amplified, because it does have, they do have provisions for that in there if you're not wanting to go full DSP. The AX DSP does have chime level control built into it for high level output. So that's kind of cool. You will also need load resistors on that. So LGD greens are what you're looking for. So non-Bose, yeah. So you're gonna need load resistors, the LGD greens, and I would suggest going to some form of a DSP so that you can bring that chime level down to, because there again, like we were showing you different filters on this. A notch filter is what you want, because a notch filter, you can pick one frequency. It's a very narrow Q. It allows you to bring it down. A parametric EQ, there again, turning the Q, which is the width, all the way down will help. We'll do basically the same thing. Basically, not totally. Basically, right, Fernando? Technically, basically. A graphic EQ, you can still bring it down. You just gotta not go too crazy on the, get it to a tolerable level, because either that or match it on the passenger side. But it's still, you're not going to notice it. But yes, you need something to bring that level of the chime down so that it just doesn't make you wet your pants. And it will make you wet your pants. or the guy that gets in your car will wet his pants. Somebody's going to be wetting pants. Mary Lou is such a beautiful woman. I sent her a friend request, but she is not accepted. Well, have you seen the fun she's having in California? I mean, let's be honest. She's a poster. She's just posting stuff. She's having a great time. You know, she's living her second life. Or fifth life. I don't know. What you guys were? Alfa Romeo without the premium.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, that's you.
How are you?
I have no idea on the Alpha. I don't know. How many 830 sales for Paul so far? Paul has not sold any 830s at all. I have sold all the 830s, so technically Paul is at a big whopping 0. All right, I have a Helix. Oh, perfect. You have a Helix V8. You're good. You can do. You have the option of filter types in that DSP, so you'll be able to deal with the chime. You'll be good. How would you rate the factory Alpine system in the 2016 Jeep Wrangler on a scale from 1 to 10? Well, I mean, if this is a 10, which it's not, but it's pretty damn close, only because of the height issue because the sound is coming from the kick, or the speakers are in the kick, sound not coming from. Anyways, you know, it's hard to say anytime you look at like, oh, factory system this, listen, for us, we do a ton of them, we pull them out, it's not a great sounding system. But it depends on, like, what are you comparing it to? Like, for me, I have a big home stereo. Fernando has a big home stereo. A lot of guys out there have sound bars, and they're like, dude, this sound bar is killing it. You know, they have Bose, and like, dude, my Bose is amazing. They get in their car, and they're like, dude, this is amazing. If it's amazing to you, cool. It's amazing to you. Don't be ashamed. If it sounds like crap,
Totally shame. Shame on you.
then yeah, shame on you. You should change that piece of stuff. But no, it's not fair to compare aftermarket with factory. And for the simple reason is, like, what they've done with the $250 is amazing. Because yeah, a factory system at cost, meaning what they're paying their vendor to make that, it's about $250. So I couldn't design a system that even remotely sounds like that for that kind of money at all, ever, not in a million years. So yeah, I mean, we've had this conversation with Alpine, and it's like, look, this is the criteria. We came in the cheapest, we hit all what they wanted, and we made the system. Okay, sounds good. How many different DSP softwares do you have on your laptop? I have them all. Yeah, I have them all because we do so many different DSPs. Oh, hang on, let me close this one, and we'll take a look around here. So this is a beta software from the audio control. This is the updater for AX DSP. This is the kicker tweak. This is the ARC. This is all the Odyssey software, which I'm really happy. The new doesn't need, they're getting rid of this, and it's only going to be one. This is the Mosconi software here, just this one. This is Sound Up. I don't know what that is, but they have that. Museway. This is the WebLink updater for the DSR1, as well as the Rockford DSR1 updater. This, I think, is the new Odyssey software. I don't know. Alpine has at least 3 different. Here's the JL, Infinity, and JBL. And then there's a bunch of DSPs there. The Helix software isn't on there. The Phoenix Gold software isn't on there anymore. And I don't have the Ground Zero software on there on this particular laptop. So, yeah. But this is my second laptop, so I've had to, as we use things, I'll populate it. I've actually had this laptop for a really long time. It just sat, it was brand new in the box. I bought it for another purpose, laser, and never used it for that. And so it just sat there, and then my cool little laptop that I had, my Lenovo, took a shit. And so I was like, oh, I need another laptop. So I grabbed this. I hate this because it's gigantic and it's cheap and it's plasticky. I'd much prefer it to be something like this. I was just talking about that with Fernando. It's like, I hate this because it's so big and dumb. But, you know, it's, yeah. Hey, what's up? Thanks, guys. Always being informative, except for looking at that door. Look at Fernando. He's over there having fun. He's got his new toys. That's his new R8 Canon. Is that the 80 millimeter? Huh?
85?
No, it's just 80. There's no 85. Come on, man. My 2021 Audi A4 front stage is really good. It's just not enough power. It never is for you. Yep. Pro photo guy Fernando. I know. You guys are great. Thank you. Christian just having fun. Happy birthday to me on Sunday. All right, hold on. It's Uncle Bobby B's birthday. So let's hear it.
Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday, buddy.
There you go, man. Wow. Screen grab that for sure. Any Helix DSP installs coming up soon? That is yes. We're doing a couple M systems, but I don't know when. I don't know when anything is going to show up, so yeah. Did I have the Helix software on there? I feel like I did.
Yeah.
Did I? Maybe that's the Helix software. Oh, the AFT is the Helix software. That's right. The new D is the Helix. It makes absolutely no sense. My bad. Yep. Heard an F-bomb on this morning's YouTube video. Did you? I can't imagine that. Wow, I didn't hear that. Strange. Are you guys gonna be in any social anytime soon? I mean, what you mean, like gonna be anywhere? We're gonna be in Indy tomorrow. We're gonna be doing Knowledge Fest in Indianapolis tomorrow. We'll be there for 3 days. Other than that, that's about all I know. I forgot to ask the other day, but is she doing any rear seat entertainment? This thing? No. She's a retired Air Force pilot, which is probably giving you way too much information about her.
Yeah, come on, man.
But this is her bike's car, so she puts her bike in here and just does. This is her just fun wagon, man. She loves it. It's obviously paid for. She has a good time. No, this is just fun. There's no kitties. This is not a kiddie mobile. Will the new audio control software also have the rear fill? No. It won't have any cool rear fill stuff. I mean, that's really not on the agenda for this particular version of the software. Yeah. Ooh. Hey, can you take a break for a second?
Yeah.
Stop chimping. So we got a box today I want to show you. But before I show you this box, Fernando, who's this show brought to you by?
Hey guys, this show is brought to you by MorelHiFi.com. Where you can find MorelHiFi.com, it's a lot of stuff about car audio. Exactly, speakers, amplifiers, even home audio. Exactly, right? They have this cool stuff they call Biggie.
Yeah, that won't be available till 2025.
Still, it's in the website. Go check it out. You know what is that? What are you talking about?
I have no
Go check
idea.
them out. MorelHiFi.com, Instagram, Morel_America. They cool guys. Natasha's the best. So check them out.
Dude, Weber fan called this is Carol Danvers' car. That's so cool. What's up, Mike?
Alright, so this is what we got today, guys.
Just get the knife.
This one, guys. What did you get?
I got that, and I was like, I saw green, I was thinking celery, and I was like, really, green beans? So this box came for us today. If you caught the video today, then you probably know what this is. Maybe not. Tell Mary Lou to accept me.
Somebody say anything about
what? Yeah, they heard the F-bomb. I don't remember F-bomb. I gotta be honest, so, like, the weird thing, okay, so he's taking his time on that. Weird thing about the video that went out today, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when I was filming that, and there was music playing from somewhere, which was weird because there was no music playing in my hotel room. All right, so back to Fernando. But this thing picked up some random music playing, but this is the piece of equipment
Fatality.
that we were using to film that, as you guys remember seeing it. So it's back.
Yes.
F-bomb was dropped. Man, I don't remember the F-bomb being dropped. That was so... This is not Barney.
No.
This is the Audio Frog microphone. This is for our camera. So if you caught the video, you heard me in the room jumping around in the bed, and then you heard Fernando walking around on the show floor, and we were just testing it. So the idea behind this is when we're doing... So Andy's making this... there again, we're using it for audio. Oh, thank God. I was worried about that. I was like, hopefully you've included the cable. We're going to be using this to do, like, when we do the testing with the speakers, as well as when we're sitting in a car and we're doing the audio in a car. So we'll be using that for that, so that we can get...
We're going to use that for that.
We're going to use that. We're going to use this for that. So this is not for tuning a car in our world, and in hers world it's not either at the moment. It might be someday.
Just testing.
So it's an Andy. This is an Andy.
Yeah. Andy's head.
So this is an Andy, and we'll be using this to get some really cool spatial audio. If you didn't hear the video that went up today, then you got to check it out.
So you can have an idea what...
It sounds really, really cool. Especially like the part that you filmed where you were carrying on a conversation with people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you had it like right here, in front of you or down low, but you could hear everyone over here. And then when Eckley and Eduardo came up to you, it was like, I don't think Eckley said anything, but Eduardo and you carried on some Spanish for a minute, and then he walked away, and it was just like you could hear all of that.
You put it on. You can't put that stuff up. Really bad stuff.
Well, then life goes on.
That's crazy.
It's all right. 90% of our 95% of our audience won't know what he said. Looks more like AI with Will Smith. It could be.
Will Smith.
Put a wig on it. No, I kind of like the bald. Might put a hat on it though. Yeah. But yeah, so no, it's got little microphones in the ears, so that's pretty neat. I'm pretty excited.
All right.
But that's what we got going on. We need to get this out of here. We need to get the next car in. This is going to be it from the bay for the next couple days. Pretty excited. We'll be back, of course, on Monday. For sure, we'll be back on Monday. Who knows what's going to happen this weekend? We'll be out running around doing stupid stuff, so teaching